Hello everybody, Eric again. Like and subscribe. Here we go. Let's read about Fast Eddie Clarke. Edward Allen Clarke, the 5th of October 1950 to the 10th of January 2018, better known as Fast Eddie Clarke, or simply Fast Eddie, was a British guitarist who was a member of rock bands Fast Way and Motorhead. Of Motorhead's classic lineup, which consisted of Lemmy and Phil Animal Taylor. He was the last surviving member at the time of his death. Career. Early days. Clarke began playing guitar, and by the time he was 15 years old, had been through many local bands, one of which was called The Bitter End. Of his Fast moniker, Clarke has said, "I didn't get the name Fast Eddie because of any sex thing, and it wasn't even because I could play fast. It was just that I could play one note and a solo really fast," referring to his skillful tremolo picking. He continued playing local gigs until 1973, when he turned professional by joining Curtis Knight's blues prog rock band Zeus as lead guitarist. In 1974, the band recorded an album called The Second Coming at Olympic Studios. Clarke wrote the music to Knight's lyrics on the track entitled The Confession. Clarke recorded the album Sea of Time with Zeus, later with guitarist friend Alan Collin, keyboard player Nicky Hogarth, and drummer Chris Perry. Clarke attended a recorded jam session at Command Studios in Piccadilly. As a result of the tracks from the session, the quartet secured a deal with Anchor Records and called the band Blue Goose. With the recording contract secured, Clarke, Hogarth, and Perry left Zeus to focus on their own project with Collin. Clarke soon formed another band with the Bebop Deluxe bassist Charlie Tomahoo, vocalist Ann McCluskey, and drummer Jim Thompson, called Continuous Performance. This lineup lasted until early 1975, when their demo tracks failed to secure them a record deal, and the band split up. Still out to secure the record deal, Clarke then formed a group with Nicky Hogarth from Blue Goose, bass player Tony Cousins, and drummer Terry Slater. Their efforts to get a deal were also unsuccessful, and Clarke temporarily gave up the music industry. Motorhead. Clarke was working on refitting a houseboat when he met drummer Phil Taylor, who had recently joined Motorhead. However, according to Calmester's authorized biography, it appears that Clarke was introduced to Lemmy by a receptionist at the rehearsal studio, Gertie, who was romantically involved with Clarke at the time. Not long after he was playing with them, in the early days, Eddie rehearsed with Motorhead before going on the road. At Snob's Rehearsal Studios, part of a converted brewery on the corner of King's Road and Lots Road, Chelsea, known as the Furniture Cave. Motorhead's popularity increased along with their UK chart successes. The threesome, Lemmy, Clarke, Taylor, are considered the classic Motorhead lineup and have the Motorhead, Overkill, Ace of Spades, Bomber, No Sleep Till Hammersmith, and Iron Fist albums, plus a string of hit singles to their credit. As well as playing guitar and singing backing vocals, he performed lead vocal on a small number of Motorhead songs. Examples are Beer Drinkers and Hellraisers, on which he traded vocals with Lemmy. On Your Witch Doctor, on which he duets with vocals with Lemmy. Step Down and Emergency, one of the B-side tracks on the St. Valentine's Day Massacre EP, upon which they performed Please Don't Touch with Girl School, under the combined band names of Head Girl. He claimed to hate singing the lead. See the video for Step Down. Departure from Motorhead. Clarke left Motorhead in 1982, released on tour of the United States, becoming unhappy at the results of the Iron Fist album. The recording sessions with the Plasmatics were the final straw. For the B-side of the Stand By Your Man EP, the bands took turns in covering each other's songs. Clarke allegedly felt that this compromised the band's principles and resigned. According to Joe McGovern, Clarke himself later denied this version of events and had said, Palithy was the main instigator in my being excluded from the band. Notice I do not call it leaving, as it was not my choice. I had imagined dying on stage with Motorhead, so it was a blow when they didn't want me in the band any longer. Clarke was replaced by former Thin Lizzy and Wild Horses lead guitarist Brian Robertson, after Anvil frontman Steve Lipscadlow turned down the offer to play with Motorhead. Clarke's last gig with Motorhead took place at the New York Palladium on the 14th of May, 1982. Another cameo from Clarke on the later Motorhead album was on 2000's Live at Brixton Academy, released in 2003, in which the band featured many guest appearances from other guitarists, of which he was one, playing on the songs No Class, The Chase is Better Than the Catch, and Overkill. Fast Way. Hearing that UFO bassist Pete Way was keen to leave that band, the two met and decided their new band's name would be an amalgamation of their own two names, resulting in Fast Away. They advertised in the music press for a drummer and a vocalist. Meanwhile, a rehearsal was organized, for which Clash drummer Topper Headden filled in on drums. The ads began showing positive results. Cassettes from potential band members arrived. One of these was from a young singer named Dave King. Clarke was impressed with his voice and financed a trip to London for King. After an audition together, King became the Fastway vocalist. Ex-Humble Pie member Jerry Shirley became the drummer. The band sent out demo tapes and were approached by CBS Records for a recording deal. Way announced his departure just as they were about to sign the deal. But CBS had faith in Fastway and decided to sign them despite this setback. Touring had been strenuous for the band, and upon returning to Britain, they decided to split. Clarke stayed in London and soon received a call from King about giving Fastway another go. Clarke agreed and moved to Ireland with another album for CBS in view. They rehearsed with three of King's friends. The record label was happy with the sound and had them recorded at London's Abbey Road Studios with producer Terry Manning. Releasing Waiting for the War in 1986, Clarke toured America with Fastway, supporting AC/DC, followed by a lengthy European tour, which produced 1992's Say What You Will live album. Fastway were also engaged to provide music for the Trick or Treat film soundtrack, for which they composed the title track and performed Often If You Could See from their albums. Later days, after the band split up again, Clarke moved back to London and met up with Leah Hart, a solo artist in the Far East. Clarke's record deals have now expired, so the pair took a demo tape to Douglas Smith, Clarke's former Metalhead manager at GWR Records, who willingly signed a deal. Still using the name Fastway, they recorded the On Target album. It featured Don Urry and Paul Urry on keyboards, Neil Murray on bass, plus Bran Tchaikovsky of the Motors and Christine Byford as backing vocalists. Clarke's group now consisted of Whiff Whap on drums, keyboards and bass, plus assorted friends helping out, Biff Byford and Nigel Glockler of Saxon, Don Urry and Kim McAuliffe, and Chris Bonucci of Girls' School. Following the production of two albums, Clarke and Hart split up. However, the excesses he had indulged in with Motorhead had taken their toll and led to Clarke being admitted to hospital, spending time afterwards in recuperation. Having recovered, Clarke released a solo album, It Ain't Over Until It's Over, which blends Motorhead and Fastway styles. Lemmy also helped out on the album by writing and signing the track Laugh at the Devil CD release. Fast Eddie Clarke Anthology on Sanctuary Records showcased a collection of Clarke's music spanning his career before and after Motorhead. It also marked a return to live performances with the reformed Fastway, including an appearance in the UK at the Downland Festival in summer 2007. In 2014, Clarke went back to his blues roots and released a new studio album through Secret Records. Make My Day, Back to Blues was a collaboration between Clarke and the keyboardist from Shakatak, Bill Sharp. Clarke reunited with Limby on the 6th of November 2014 at the National Indoor Arena in Birmingham to play the Motorhead track, Ace of Spades. Death. Clarke died on the 10th of January 2018, age 67, in a hospital where he was being treated for pneumonia. Discography. Albums. 1974, Curtis Knight, Zeus, The Second Coming. 1974, Curtis Knight, Zeus, Sea of Time. 1983, Fastway, Fastway. 1984, Fastway, All Fired Up. 1986, Fastway, Waiting for the War. 1986, Fastway, Trick or Treat, Soundtrack Album. 1988, Fastway, On Target. 1990, Fastway, Bad Bad Girls. 1992, Fastway, Say What You Will, Live. 1993, The Muggers Tapes. 1994, solo album, It Ain't Over Till It's Over. 2003, Motorhead, Live at Brixton Academy. 2007, Fast Eddie Clarke Anthology. 2009, Curtis Knight Zeus, The Second Coming, first time on CD with bonus track. 2010, Fastway, Steal the Show, 4 CD live book box set. 2011, Fastway, Eat Dog Eat. 2014, Fast Eddie Clarke, Make My Day, Back to Blues, CD and download. 2018, Warfare, Cemetery, Dirt Download Plastic Head, Media Ltd. 2018, Warfare Misothery, from the album Warfare, Nightmare Mixes. Singles, 1974, Curtis Knight and Zeus, Devil Made Me Do It, / Rainbow. 1974, Curtis Knight and Zeus, People, Places and Things, / Mysterious Lady. 1983, Fastway, Easy Livin' / Say What You Will. 1983, Fastway, Easy Livin', Say What You Will / Far Far From Home. 2018, Warfare, Misanthropy / Cemetery Dirt. Guest appearances. 1990, Motorhead, The Birthday Party. 1990, album and video, recorded in 1985. 1994, JBO, Blasphemy, on Greetings from Fast Eddie Clarke. 2000, Necropolis, End of the Line, solo on A Taste for Killing. 2001, Motorhead, 25 and Alive, Bone Shaker DVD, live at their 25th anniversary show, Brixton, the 13th of November, 2000, DVD and CD. 2003, Chinchilla, Metropolis, solo on When the Sand Darkens the Sun. 2004, classic albums, Ace of Spades, interviewed and plays guitar on this DVD celebrating the 1980 Motorhead album. 2005, Mask, Lookout, solo on I've Had Enough of the Funny Stuff. 2008, Sheep and Wolves Clothing, Motorhead Bangers, Fan Club Tributes, CD, lead guitar on Girls School Remix version. On Girls School's remix version of Motorhead's Metropolis song. 2008, Girls School Legacy, lead guitar on their cover version of Motorhead's Metropolis song. 2010, Saxon, Heavy Metal Thunder the movie, interviewed several times on this DVD. 2015, Thor, Metal Avenger, plays on the title track. 2017, Evo, Warfare, High Roller Records. Motorhead, the 21st of August, 1977. Overkill, the 24th of March, 1979. Bomber, the 27th of October, 1979. Ace of Spades, the 8th of November, 1980. No Sleep Till Hammersmith, the 27th of June, 1981. Iron Fist, the 17th of April, 1982. BBC Live and In Session, the 20th of September, 2005. The Manticore Tapes, the 27th of June, 2025. Bye for now.